Welcome to the Ignition News, your unfiltered, uncensored source for the actual truth in what is happening in the United States of America and around the world. We are not bought by the billionaires. We are here to be your source of truth in a time where truth matters more than it ever has. Be sure to follow along with your favorite platform on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, or Substack. Let's get busy with the truth. Welcome to the Ignition News. We're going live in the studio in 3, there you go, 2, 1. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Ignition News. It is now January 2026. There are so many stories to get you caught up on today. I have so much to talk to you about today. We got to hurry up with the news. I do want to give you a couple of, let's start it off on a lighter note this morning. Let me tell you about January 27th. Today is officially National Chocolate Cake Day. It is the day that the patent for the light bulb came out in 1880. Thomas Edison famously patented the light bulb. Apple announced the iPad today in 2010. You remember that was pretty massive, $4.99. It was groundbreaking. I remember watching that live. It was absolutely insane. In Canada, it is Family Literacy Day. You will note that apparently that is not a holiday in America. Let's see, we've got some famous birthdays to celebrate today. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart was born today. Lewis Carroll, Alice from Wonderland. And Patton Oswalt. One time, Patton Oswalt tweeted something at Giuliani, Rudy Giuliani, and I was right underneath Rudy Giuliani's tweet. So Patton Oswalt had to very loudly explain that I was not an asshole like Rudy Giuliani. So yeah, he said I was cool. I appreciate that. That was a couple other massive things happened today in history because we do talk about history on the show. This was the Apollo 1 tragedy in 1967, where there was a flash fire in the capsule, the module. It was the end of the siege of Leningrad in 1944, and it is International Holocaust Remembrance Day. And before I begin, I think that's a great point to kick off American resistance and a reminder, of course, of the genocide in Gaza. And, you know, a lesson we take on a day like today. It is the anniversary, the liberation of Auschwitz. And we are supposed to have remembered never again. And indeed, never again means never again for everyone, whether that is the Jews from the concentration camps, or the children in Gaza, or the children in Minnesota, or the men and women fighting to resist fascism as it sweeps across our country. Never again is supposed to mean never again for everyone. And so let us remember that today as we get into the top stories. I do want to thank you for following along. We have obviously one ask of you, which is to find us on your favorite podcasting platform, whether that's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, or Substack. We are streaming the show live, but not every news broadcast goes live. So we're streaming live on the Spotify, on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, and Substack. So we do appreciate everyone for tuning in, but be sure to follow us on your favorite podcast platform to get behind the scenes, extra news stories, all that sort of stuff. I do want to recognize that we built an amazing audience, and our show is brought to you by Ignite, fighting fascism in the age of its rise. If you're looking, how do you fight back against fascism? We built you a toolkit. It's totally free. 14 episodes, 4 bonus episodes teaching you how to challenge and confront your congressional representatives, how to fix the potholes in your front yard, how to run for office if you want, or just how to be a better citizen. This is your country. You deserve it. Let's get into the top stories today. It is January 27th, obviously. I think the biggest story in question for me today is what is the future of how we all communicate with each other, how we all talk to each other, and most important, how we find each other. There is now national reporting about the TikTok censorship that many of you are experiencing, that many of us have seen with our own eyes. Less than a week after ByteDance was forced to hand over TikTok to a group of Trump-aligned investors, the platform is now notably blocking the word Epstien in direct messages and suppressing content critical of ICE operations in Minneapolis. Here's what's happening. Users across the country started reporting this weekend that they couldn't send messages containing the name Jeffrey Epstein. The platform returned an error message. I've seen this for myself, and a note that it may be a community guidelines violation. This has been independently verified, obviously. And at the same time, of course, I'm sure many of you have seen, I have personally seen videos with content about the ICE raids in Minneapolis, or political content, or anti-Trump content, anti-ICE content, video about Alex Preti. 0 views, no traction. Meanwhile, mindless brain slop about, just slop, just brain rot content seems to have no problem generating huge and prolific views on this new platform. Now, TikTok's official explanation was a quote, power outage at a data center, which caused cascading systems failures. The timing of this is bizarre to me. The day after the assassination of Alex Preti on Minnesota streets, the platform just got sold to investors loyal to the president, to Oracle, company run by Larry Ellison, who is one of the president's biggest supporters. And now they're running the algorithm that decides what 200 million Americans see every single day. Suddenly, the day after Alex Preti is killed by federal agents in Minneapolis, content about that killing disappears. California Governor Gavin Newsom isn't buying it either. He launched an investigation Monday night into whether TikTok is violating state law by censoring certain content. California has a bill called AB 587 that was signed in 2022, specifically states large social media platforms must be transparent about their content mediation policies. Now, we're seeing a mass export, a mass exodus from the app. We know that specifically 150% increase in deletions of the app and people fleeing the app. And this is what censorship looks like in real time. It's why we have to find each other wherever we are. But it's an important reminder for you to build community hyper-locally, to find those in-person connections as well. It's so great to have you, everybody. I'm happy to be here today. I want to talk about the next story on the Ignition News, which is Bovino. Greg Bovino, the Border Patrol Commander, who became the president's sort of face of immigration, has been officially demoted. Well, not necessarily out and out demoted. He is being sent back to his old job in El Centro, California. And I'm calling this a demotion. A lot of people are calling this a demotion. And this has been independently verified. Bovino is expected to leave Minneapolis as soon as tomorrow, and he may retire soon after this. This is after we learned that apparently he was, quote, locked out of his social media accounts because he spent so much of his time sort of defending ICE agents in Minneapolis. So they locked him out of his accounts. Now, of course, the White House initially defended him. Karen Leavitt called him a, quote, wonderful man and a great professional. But the truth, my friends, is much harder to spin. He was trouncing around Minneapolis in a little Nazi uniform. Then his agents killed two people, Renee Good and then, of course, Alex Preti. And what's happening now is that the president is blinking. The politics here are terrible. There's a couple polls I want to tell you about in this. 58% of Americans believe ICE has gone too far. Only 12% say that they have gone far enough. Trump's net approval has dropped 19%. And of course, his administration just killed 2 United States citizens in 3 weeks. Both were engaging in constitutionally protected activity. So now, of course, the administration is doing damage control. Bovino gets demoted. Some agents are getting pulled out of Minnesota. You see Governor Tim Walz is saying that they're having some type of agreement. But the agents who killed Renee Good and Alex Preti are both apparently walking free. And let me be very clear. This is a couple things all wrapped into one. Number one, it's PR. It's not accountability. If we know one thing about this president is that what he ultimately cares about is himself. And as the heat of these operations are beginning to turn the spotlight towards the president, well, the president is feeling the heat of that spotlight. The structure that enabled this activity, the killings of these people, the detention of people, these inhumane raids, that is still in place. Bovino is out, but the system is still in place. But let me be very clear with you before I transition to the next story. A lot of people are failing to miss this moment here. So let me be quite clear about what I think you need to know. What I think you need to know is that this president can be stopped. He's blinking now. Kristi Noem is apparently in quite a little bit of trouble right now. There are rumors that Kristi Noem and her boyfriend Corey Lewandowski are apparently on the outs as well. What happened is the resistance in Minnesota is winning. The resistance in Minnesota is, and again, as we've said before, as you are well aware, of course, we know that our politicians have left us. They've left us, literally in Minnesota, they have left us out in the cold. Yet, still, the resistance shows up on the icy streets of Minnesota, all over the country. Thousands of people, even when the social media platforms are trying to hide and censor that information from us. The president blinked. DHS blinked. ICE blinked. But now is not the time to be happy. Greg Bovino's gonna clip that. Of course, we want you to be peaceful, but now is not the time to be quiet. Let's get on to the next story. The 2026 World FIFA Cup is supposed to start. World FIFA Cup. The 2026 FIFA World Cup is supposed to start in 4.5 months. The United States is co-hosting with Canada and Mexico, and now prominent figures in international soccer are calling for a boycott. Former FIFA president Sepp Blatter, yes, that guy, the guy was forced out in a massive corruption scandal, posted on X Monday calling for fans to quote stay away from the USA. He's supporting Swiss attorney Mark Pietz, who chaired FIFA's Reform and Oversight Board. And what they're saying is boycott FIFA, stay away from FIFA, don't go to the United States. And of course, why would you? If you were from any one of these countries, of course, why would you come to the United States and risk being pulled over, detained, and deported to a third country by Greg Bovino's ICE or Tom Homan's ICE? Why would you take that risk? A poll in Germany found that 47% of residents would support a boycott. 150,000 people have signed a petition calling on the Dutch national team to boycott the tournament. There is growing calls for this, by the way. Fans from participating countries are being blocked from following their teams unless they already have visas. Trump's travel restrictions cite screening and vetting deficiencies, but the timing's very clear. This is about control, and it's about deciding who gets to come to America. And so thousands of people are simply saying, let's just not go. There's a growing call to boycott FIFA. And I would like to join that call as well. If you're listening or watching from somewhere around the world, do not come to the United States of America for FIFA. It is not safe, not even for, obviously it's not safe for United States citizens, but it's certainly not safe for international tourists. And of course, international tourism is plummeting in the United States of America. It's completely fallen off a cliff. Now, will this boycott actually happen? Will FIFA pull out of the United States of America? Probably not. But fan boycotts, empty stadium seats, empty chairs, well, I think that is possible. The world is watching, and we are watching the world. From one citizen of the United States to other citizens and to our global citizens around the world, let me just ask you, don't support these cruel policies of this administration. If you want to know what you can do to support and stop this president here in the United States of America, the answer is simple. Don't come. Boycott FIFA. Don't come to the United States. Economic pressure is one of the few toolkits that we have left. So please, if you're watching this story, if you're considering traveling to the United States of America, just don't come. It's the best way you can support us. Thanks, everybody, for watching the Ignition News. I just want to go ahead and kick it off here. We're going to go into the next story, which is a bit of a mystery, something that I think is a growing concern, and questions are being asked. We've now got multiple videos showing Alex Preti holding his phone. We see that he's filming federal agents moments before he was killed this Saturday. ABC News created a minute-by-minute timeline showing different angles of the killing of Alex Preti. And in those timelines, he's holding his phone in front of a federal officer. At 8:58, a second officer pepper sprays him. At 8:58:29, an officer pushes Preti towards the sidewalk. At 8:59:24, Preti is still holding his phone towards officers as they move a detainee into a vehicle. He's documenting everything. This is when the agents swarm him. They pepper spray him, they tackle him to the ground, and they beat him while he's pinned to the ground. We now know, of course, that they disarmed him at this moment. They removed his holstered gun, which, by the way, he was licensed to carry, and then they shot him 10 times in less than 5 seconds. His phone was in his hand the entire time. That is right until agents killed him. DHS has confirmed to PBS that they're reviewing body camera footage from multiple angles, but nobody seems to know where Alex Preti's phone is. That's the question. Federal officials have shut out state investigators, but the question remains, where is Alex's phone? We need to know the truth. Alex Preti's family has released statements about this. It's becoming increasingly clear that Alex was simply exercising all of his constitutional rights, but the federal government is controlling all of the evidence, and no one knows where that phone is. This is how cover-ups work. This is not dramatic. There's no smoking gun conversation where someone orders evidence to be destroyed. It's just a dirty cop who grabs a phone and then nobody ever sees the phone again. Of course, we know that Stephen Miller called him a would-be assassin based on nothing. Greg Bovino and Kristi Noem said that he was attempting to kill federal agents with no evidence. Carolyn Levitt refused to defend Miller's comments, but now the question remains. Where is Alex Preti's phone? The Trump administration's narrative is collapsing under the weight of all the video of his assassination, but we still need to know where that phone is. Alex Preti was an ICU nurse at a VA hospital. He worked with veterans. His parents said he wanted to make a difference in the world. He grew up in Green Bay. He was an Eagle Scout. He played football and baseball and sang in a boys' choir. He loved the outdoors. He took his dog Jewel everywhere until she died recently. Then on Saturday morning, he went out to legally document and observe ICE agents conducting their immigration raids in Minneapolis. Then they killed him. And now they have his phone. They have this evidence. We need to know what's on that phone. His parents want the truth. We want the truth. And that's the question. But it's an important reminder to you on this day, something we speak about often. It is important to document, record, and witness the acts of this administration. So, how do all of these things tie together? We've got TikTok censoring content. That's censoring my live stream right now, by the way. You've got the Border Patrol Commander, Greg Bovino, out of Minneapolis. You've got the world calling for a boycott of FIFA, while FIFA gives Trump a fake prize, by the way, a little fake trophy. We've got federal government with Alex Preti's phone, allegedly. And we need to know where it is. This is the state of things in America on the 27th. This is what accountability looks like under this administration, which is to say it doesn't exist. They kill Americans. They lie about it. They demote their scapegoat, Bovino. They censor the documentation. They keep the evidence hidden, and they expect us to move on. Alex Preti's parents said, please get the truth out about our son. So we will. We'll talk about it. We'll keep demanding the footage from his phone. We'll keep asking for the names of the ICE agents who killed him and the people who are defending them. We'll keep documenting every ICE raid and every suppressed video, every lie they tell, because this is what resistance looks like now. Showing up, recording, refusing to let them memory hold these murders, refusing to let them control the narrative. This is why we do the Ignition News, to speak truth, hold accountable this administration, and to remind you, this administration can be stopped. This administration is failing its efforts in Minnesota for one reason and one reason alone. The people, the resistance is winning. The resistance is winning. But this is not the time to slow down. This is not the time to go back into our homes and be afraid of this tyrannical government. This is the time to advance. This is the time to move our resistance forward, to remind us that when we confront this fascism, it retreats. So much of the advance of this terrible administration has simply because no one is saying no, especially our elected representatives, especially the courts, especially business leaders. But we are saying no, and we will say no until this is stopped. And make no mistake, this will be stopped. That's the Ignition News, everybody. It's January 27th. I hope you have a wonderful and safe week. We'll be back live tomorrow. Please go ahead and find us on your favorite podcasting platform. Don't forget to click like. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to support the show. I appreciate you, everyone. That's the show. This has been today's episode of The Ignition News. Please consider following us on all of your favorite podcast platforms, whether that's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or Substack. We're here to deliver to you unfiltered, uncensored news. Let's get busy with the truth on The Ignition News.